you recruit? Because obviously Dylan Head and Sam Stafora are guys that are going pro. I mean, when you're recruiting, do you try to target guys that we think they'll actually make it to campus? How aggressive are you with guys do you think might actually turn pro? And I guess this ties in with the portal. Does it help now that you have more available, possibly even veteran players to replace if you're losing guys in the recruiting class?
Yeah, so I think we all watched the World Series, and there was a lot of talk of glorifying the portal as, you know, some teams maybe rely on it. We will always build our program with high school players, always. And we are going to build the program by recruiting the high school player, developing the high school player, and we are going to go into the portal to fill some holes, plug some gaps, plug some holes, fill some gaps. Kind of like we used to do back in the day with junior college players. And then, it used to be if you transferred, you have to sit out a year, so you really didn't do the 4-year transfer thing, in the last, whatever it's been, 15 years. But the majority of the guys we've got coming in are grad transfers, and this will actually be the first time that we've brought in someone that's not a grad transfer. But I think there has to be some type of extenuating circumstance for us, at least, as to why to target someone or to get someone that isn't a graduate transfer. I just personally, gravitate to the grad transfer. Just like that the guy did his 4 years at the other school, got his degree. He's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder because he's not drafted, he's not pro ball, he's still in college, and he's got one shot at being a part of a winner. And those guys, whether it was at Michigan or last year with the guys we had, specifically Riley Bertram and Willie Weiss, but those guys have just, they're just willing to do anything to make sure the team goes out a winner, and their last year as a college baseball player is a very memorable one. So we've mostly just, targeted the grad transfer. But now that the post-COVID window is closing, the COVID bonus year, I think the transfers will probably shift back to, just the straight undergrad transfer. And I'm not saying we won't ever do it. We did it this year with a couple guys coming in, but it would have to be a very specific need that needs to be filled, and a very specific reason why. I'm just not a guy that thinks that we're going to get someone who's disgruntled over here and looking at, thinking this is a greener grass type of situation. And Jerry Weinstein, the former Sacramento City College coach, had a great line. He said, "The grass is brown everywhere. It's only green where you water it." Right? So, I just, we'll build our program with high school players. We'll supplement the transfers as needed.
With the draft, though, is it difficult as a coach to, not target kind of those guys who maybe going pro, and how do you make those decisions in terms of? Yeah,
so it's, we kind of subscribe to the idea that you can't coach them if you never sign them. I mean, we, going all the way back to, recruiting at Vanderbilt with Coach Corbin, we targeted some big time guys, and we lost some of them, but the ones we got were transformational for the program. Guys like David Price. I mean, David Price could have signed for a 7-figure signing bonus out of high school, but he chose to come to school. And so, I think we will always target those types of players. Clemson historically has always targeted those types of players, and and then you have some that come in and really blossom and have turned into to create quite a career for themselves. But yeah, we will always go after the high-end player, and this is a place that every prospect should be interested in, just with the fan base, the facilities, the development of our program, the way our players develop in our program. Having winning teams and a winning culture, it's going to be highly attractive for kids throughout the southeast state of South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, all the way up to the Northeast. I mean, those, we'll continue to recruit probably a 50-50 mix of out-of-state, in-state. So I think if you're on the eastern seaboard, from the tip of Florida all the way to the tip of Maine, this is going to be a desirable place to come to. It's my recruiting pitch.
I thought it was interesting the way you talked about Will Taylor and understanding the money is on the back end of this. Cam Canarella put together a special season, and you have to imagine there were a lot of teams across the country that wanted to come in and get him.
Yeah.
But he decided to stay the course, and to me that's kind of, again, looking long term rather than something short term. How big is it to have him back and the fact that he's staying?
Oh yeah, I love Cam. I love his family, and I appreciate the loyalty as well, because there was tampering going on with him, and there were third parties, and that's how it's done. It's never done from direct coach to player. It's the third party stuff. But he held his ground, and he stuck his feet in, and their family realized that he's not only grown as a baseball player but as a person, and his friends are here, and he's thriving here, and you don't want to mess with success, and he's very successful here, and he's really made a name for himself in short order. So yeah, it's exciting to think about his trajectory and about the career that he can build for himself on that trajectory, and being able to play this great game for a long time. And I love his fire, and I love his competitiveness, and I don't want him to lose that for 1 second, because it's what makes him great, and he's awesome, and we love having him. I'm glad he's on our team and staying on our team.
Could he play shortstop if you needed him to?
He can play anywhere. Cam Canarella can play infield, outfield, pitch and catch. He's just one of those. He's a ball player, He's just got that it factor, and yeah. But he's sure looks like he's found a home in center field. He does that very well.
How do you evaluate Ethan Darden's freshman season, and just what do you feel like is the ceiling for him going forward?
Kind of that same thing as a guy who came in and just continued to grow and improve and progress quickly. And again, for him, it's a lot of that same competitive fire that Cam Canarella has. Ethan Darden has all of that as well. And I think a lot of that has to do with their upbringing and just some of their life experiences up to this point. But he's a perfect example of a guy that his role at the beginning of the season did nothing but improve as the season went on, because he maximized his opportunities as a margin guy and as a matchup guy and as a short reliever and as a long reliever, and then before you know it, he's getting Tuesday starts in the midweek, and then before you know it, he's pitching on Fridays. And so he's just, his mentality, I think, is what his biggest strength, more than just the way his ball sinks and runs and his secondary stuff. So I see him continuing to make these strides physically to his body as he has another birthday, another trip around the sun, and gets adds some more strength, adds some more weight. His stuff continues to improve. His command continues to improve, but he keeps that same mindset. That's where you see guys like that just take a jump and reach another level. But we trust him, and there's a reason why he was pitching on the weekends for us.